Hey 49ers fans, I'm Thomas Mott. Welcome into Chat Sports, and today, let's take a look at the latest San Francisco 49ers offseason news and rumors. Some really good news, I would say, and some interesting rumors as well. Go ahead and start with the really good news here that the 49ers are working on a contract extension with Arik Armstead. Now, you're probably saying, well, duh, aren't they, or shouldn't they have been doing that already? Well, it was originally reported that the team was going to have to franchise tag him due to the amount of money that he wanted, and also due to the fact that the 49ers don't have a ton of money this offseason, but ESPN's Justina Anderson has confirmed just the other day the team is working on a long-term deal. They are trying to avoid a franchise tag, which would put him about $17 million per year, although this contract extension is rumored to be around $18 million a year for the star D lineman for the San Francisco 49ers. The fact that they're almost done working on this and should have it done sooner rather than later, huge news for our 49ers. I know, listen, I know it's expensive, but this guy's worth it. I've been preaching this time and time again here on the 49ers Report that if there's one free agent we've got to re-sign, it's not Sanders, it's not Jimmy Ward, it is Arik Armstead. And it looks like, again, according to multiple reports, the 49ers are going to go ahead and basically keep the entire 49ers defensive line intact from where it was last year to this year. Excuse me. Jeez. And we expect the 49ers not just to get better in terms of their team overall, but now that you keep the 49ers defensive line intact, it's only going to get better from where it was last year, which was elite level stuff for our own guys, because again, Nick Bosa only getting better. D Ford hopefully play more, and then of course Armstead on a brand new deal, and Buckner playing on his final year of his contract could be a huge, huge year for our 49ers defensive line. Now, again, this is not officially done. This is close to being officially done is what we're being told, and it's about $18 million per year, probably 4 or 5 years. We don't know the total length, but that's what I'm guessing right now here on our 49ers Report. There are plenty of other top defensive linemen that are available in free agency, but I think you could probably take off Arik Armstead from that list. A lot of other teams were interested in him. I'm sure he would have hit the open market and gotten immediate love from a bunch of different other organizations, but alas, it's looking like with the March 18th or March 16th free agent deadline looming, that Arik Armstead is probably going to be re-signing with our 49ers. Quick question here. During the ad, don't worry about it, scroll down, answer the question, is keeping Arik Armstead the right move? I think it is. I mean, I'm trying to sell you guys on this move. If you agree, comment the pinned comment down below. If not, let me know why and who you'd rather go after in free agency. All right, moving on here. Pro Football Focus is linking us to a cornerback in free agency that, now that I see it, is a perfect match for our 49ers. I didn't even think about Ronald Darby being an option for San Francisco, but the free agent cornerback out of Philadelphia makes all the sense in the world for a team like our 49ers. Here's the deal. 49ers, we know, would like to have some more outside help at corner because they benched Ahkello Witherspoon twice, and Emmanuel Moseley is still relatively young. Pro Football Focus says, well, guess what? We have a slightly older cornerback who has Super Bowl experience in Ronald Darby. He's going to be cheap. He's going to be let go by the Eagles. This is a perfect match, a match made in heaven for our 49ers. Darby, in terms of last season, was injured for part of the year, but did play 11 games, 37 tackles, 2 interceptions, 0 touchdowns. Gets beat, not often, but is susceptible to getting beat deep. But at the same time, was the best cornerback on Philadelphia's defense last year, a defense that made it all the way to the playoffs despite all of their injuries and still had a chance to beat Russell Wilson and company late in that wildcard game up in Philadelphia. Your secondary in San Francisco would look like this with Darby. It'd be Sherman and Darby on the outside, Tart back there at safety, and then I guess if you re-sign Jimmy Ward, you put Ward there, although maybe insert Grant Delpit. I mean, at the draft, as we talked about here on the 49ers Report, to me, this would be a solid addition on the outside. Just a little bit more surefire. How about that? Because we've seen Witherspoon play well. We've seen Emmanuel Moseley play well, but still, it's up and down. It's like a roller coaster. Darby is a little bit older at 26 years old in terms of Emmanuel Moseley, and to me, a little more experienced because he has the playoff run behind him, and again, a couple of playoff runs last year, and you look at what they did with the Saints just a couple of years ago in that divisional round game. They did a very good job, that entire Eagles secondary, of bottling up a guy like Michael Thomas. Even though Ronald Darby was injured during that year, I think he has proven that he could be a very viable cornerback in the right defense, and Robert Saleh could really do some incredible things with Sherman on one side and Darby on the other. I would be all for this. And then, of course, one gets injured, you still have Moseley, so Witherspoon on very cheap contracts. And finally, Darby's not going to cost that much, right? He's not going to cost more than $10 million a year because he hasn't played incredibly well the past couple of seasons. So I think this is a match made in heaven for our cap-sensitive 49ers there, if you will. Before we keep going, you guys want to bet on the March Madness tournament? That it's officially March. March Madness is happening. You want to bet on the NBA, go to our friends at BetDSI, chatsports.com/bet. Use our promo code 49ers. You'll get a 120% deposit bonus whenever you first sign up. Meaning, put $100 down. You know the drill. Turns into $220 because that's how much 120% deposit bonus works in terms of math. Okay, moving on. Some bad news for our 49ers. Not really bad, but maybe disappointing news for our 49er fans. Looks like A.J. Green will not be hitting the open market. Now, the Bengals are expected to franchise tag him. We've been saying for a long time, the reports were the Niners were going to be interested in A.J. Green. I think the Niners would have made a real run at A.J. Green had he hit free agency, but with Joe Burrow, the #1 overall pick, potentially for the Cincinnati Bengals, with them being kind of not sold on Cincinnati, the Bengals are trying to give him an outside weapon like A.J. Green, and so they're going to try to sign him to a long-term deal. If that does not work, they've officially said that they will go ahead and franchise tag him to keep him in Cincinnati. So the 49ers now, I guess it's kind of a blessing in disguise, can focus on younger and cheaper wide receivers. Because A.J. Green, everyone said, the older wide receiver is going to be expensive. He's looking for one final giant deal. So if you were hoping, like me, for a cheap, like you're old and you've been injured deal, was not going to be the case. We would have to shell out a lot of money for A.J. Green, which again, I think it would have been a great pickup, but would have been worth it in the long term. There are other free agent wide receivers. You see them on your screen right now. Amari Cooper, Robbie Anderson, Rashad Perryman, Randall Cobb. Can throw in Philip Dorsett from the Colts. Like, there are some decent wide receivers out there that you could go ahead and substitute in. Not as good as A.J. Green, maybe not even as good as Emmanuel Sanders, but guys like Anderson, Perryman, and Cobb could be a nice addition to what the 49ers are trying to do on the outside, obviously with Jalen Hurd coming back and Deebo Samuel having as good of a year as he did this past season. So A.J. Green, again, barring Green coming out like Yannick Ngakoue did for the Jaguars and say, hey, listen, I'm not going to play underneath the one-year franchise tag. I'll sign it and then you trade me. Unless that happens, which there's no indication that it will, A.J. Green will not be on the open market, meaning the 49ers cannot go ahead and sign him. Before we move on, we're approaching 20,000 subs here on the 49ers Report. 20,000 subs in under a year. It's crazy. We're the fastest growing 49ers channel here on YouTube. So go ahead. If you're not subscribed yet, the latest 49ers news and rumors all live here. Click the red subscribe button down below. Also click the notification bell. The way you are notified whenever we drop a brand new video. And just because you're a new subscriber or an old subscriber, we got some crazy good deals right now at chatsports.com/49hats. A lot of hats on sale, a lot of other stuff on sale as well. You can kind of peruse the whole website. Again, chatsports.com/49hat. There's some really great ones to wear on the golf course, at the beach, on the boat, when you're driving around the top down, or you represent our 49ers during the off season. The final bit of, I guess we're going to call this news, maybe a rumor. This was bizarre. I was watching the NFL Network the other day, and it was during the NFL Combine. Of course, Rich Eisen and Deion Sanders were monitoring the young Combine kids running around on the field doing their drills. And Deion Sanders, all prime time, was asked what he thinks Tom Brady is going to do, and he said, it's ridiculous, oh my goodness. I'm actually saying this. He thinks the 49ers are going to sign Tom Brady and trade Jimmy Garoppolo back to the Patriots. Literally, like that's what he said. Google it. You can listen to the actual audio. It is as bizarre as it gets. This is not going to happen, but because I report what people say, this is exactly what Deion Sanders said. When Sanders says that, I mean, Prime is connected, and Prime knows what he's talking about. I'm not saying he has sources on this, but it's just, man, it's bizarre. So, I decided, just for the fun of it, to show what a potential trade of Jimmy Garoppolo could look like with New England. So, I do not think you would get a first-round draft pick for Jimmy Garoppolo. I might be crazy on that. If you think I am, let me know why in the comments, but I don't think they would get a first-round draft pick. I think because the Patriots don't have a second-round pick this year, you would get one of the Patriots' third-round picks, you would get one of their fourth-round picks, maybe an additional fifth, but we're not going to throw that in there right now, and then a future second-round pick in 2021. So a second, a third, and a fourth overall for Jimmy Garoppolo. Now, again, he's a very viable quarterback. He's a very good quarterback, but I don't think he's going to demand as much on the trade market as we would expect some other young quarterbacks. Like Cam Newton's not going to demand a first. I don't think the Panthers would take a first or would need a first to get Cam Newton out of there. Same with the Bengals quarterback, Andy Dalton. Yeah, I'm blanking right now. Andy Dalton. So, again, this is what I could see a trade package happening right here, and then I guess the Niners would go ahead and sign Tom Brady to a 2-year deal. Here's why that doesn't work. Because you don't give away a quarterback who's going to play another 10 years for a quarterback who's going to play for 2. Like, do you just want to win a Super Bowl this year and then not be competitive the next couple of years? And even then, gotta breathe, is he actually going to win a Super Bowl this year? I don't know. It's crazy. What do you guys think? What do you think of this trade? Would you do the trade I just projected? You get a third, a fourth, and a second for Jimmy Garoppolo from New England. Type Y down below for yes. Type no or N down below for no. Most of you guys should be typing N down below. I'm going to read all the comments. I want to see what you guys think about our 49ers. There you go, though. Overall, we have some good news to report on Arik Armstead. We have some blessing in disguise news with AJ Green because, again, I think he's been too old, too expensive. He's going to be franchise tag. Probably going to be go ahead and keep him. Ronald Darby, a good fit. I bet you they go ahead and kick the bucket and take a look at him. And finally, this whole primetime Deion Sanders proposed trade for Tom Brady. As crazy as it gets here on the 49ers Report. All time we have for today, though. For 49ers Report, I'm Thomas Mott, signing off. Enjoy the rest of your day.